Oh boy! Is that Martial Metal Marcher on the pickups? Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So Martial Metal Marcher out here. This one is one for the ages. Is that a level 3 synchro? Wait a minute. This is Yummy support. So a few people have been discussing Martial Metal Marcher as a pickup out here for Yummies, of all things. And I appreciate the fact that duelists out here are trying to find all the cool, crazy ways to actually make Yummies look good. But if this card is sync or something, target a tuner in your graveyard and splash summon it in defense position, but negate its effects. And of course, you can only use this effect of Martial Metal March once per turn. And a synchro monster that uses card is material is treated as a tuner while it's face up on the field. Now, you're going to notice that this says it negates the effects of whatever it special summons from the graveyard. So if you're bringing out another synchro monster for this, you're not going to be able to really, or you know, if you're bringing back the level 2, you're not really going to be able to make some crazy boards with this. I think that this is a cute card for what you're actually trying to use it for, but this is going to be if you're opening up like some Giga Synchro plays within the deck, which I think is possible. There's nothing out here that's really preventing you from trying to turn, you know, Yummy into like this explosive synchro, climb up and access all these other levels of play. No, you can do that. Yummy, you know, it's still being explored and it's still being found out as to what you can kind of do with the deck. And we're still missing a card at this point that could, you know, really explode this deck on its, you know, it climbed to the top out here. It definitely is one of those more haha funny decks that you can actually work with right now. But I'm enjoying all of the hype that Yummy has going for it. It just means that players are exploring, and that's a good thing out here. The Deep Sea Prima Donna. Holy crap. So you got to remember, this is a tuner plus one non-tuner monster. So it is technically 100% generic. But your opponent cannot target a synchro monster that use this card as material with monster effects, and you can use each of the following once per turn. So we can target one of your opponent's banished cards, add it to your, you can target one of your opponent's banished cards, add it to your hand, or add to your hand to special summon a level 4 or lower water monster from your deck. And if you add it to your hand, add that target to their hand. So basically, you're going to go Minstrel, you're going to rip a card out of your opponent's hand, you're going to make the Prima Donna, the Prima Donna is going to target that banished card, you're going to summon out the Water Bearer statue, and then your opponent's going to add that card back to their hand, which is no longer going to matter because you're essentially, you know, you're set up or clear at this point. Now, if she herself sends the graveyard, target one card, or target a banished card, and shuffle it into the deck. Which, I don't really care all that much, because most of the time Prima Donna is just there to facilitate pooping out another water monster, and then your opponent's just going to be having to deal with a Water Bearer statue. I don't think that she is necessarily all that broken, but you're down to 14 listings of this stupid card, and that's a lot more than, that's a lot less than there should be on the market. I don't like that. I don't like that there are so few of her on the market right now. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me as to why there's so few of those sitting around on the market. But water hype right now is at an all-time high. You've got a lot of people that are genuinely excited to see water stuff actually sticking around out here and actually trying to do something. So, I mean, I can understand at that point why, you know, there's so much excitement. So, there's that. Mysterion, the Dragon Crown. Weren't we here? I swear this card had a lot of hype, but this is for Dragon Tail. And you know why this is for Dragon Tail? Because it's a freaking spellcaster plus a dragon monster to make it. What does this thing do? So, cannot be used as fusion material. I never wanted to make this as a fusion material anyway. This card loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. Sure. If a monster uses its activated effect to special summon itself, or a monsters with the same original type except damage type, target one of those monsters, banish that monster, also banish all monsters on the field with the same original type. So you're just punishing your opponent for wanting to capitalize on more potential monster abuse and more special summon clauses. Yeah, I can see why Mysterion checks some marks out here, but when you make an archetype like Dragon Tails, and you kind of get people out here excited for some of this stuff, that's an interesting one, actually. I think that you might want to really think about picking this up. Dragon Tails, I've seen some really freaking awesome plays, man. I've seen this deck. You got the patchwork package in here. You have genuinely some of the coolest plays that you can do in a deck with this. And I love that. I love that Dragon Tail has just kind of brought fusion monsters back into the spotlight and made people very excited to mess around with them. And Mysterion here might potentially be one of those cards that could help you clear out a game. 3,000 attack points is nothing to scoff at. Oh no, it might be 27 or 26. Who cares? If you get shifted, it's going to be like 0. The super quantal monsters. Now this was something that was brought up to me recently by a super quantal duelist. They said, Robbie, you know, super quantal cards have been getting lower and lower on the market. And I went and looked at this, and sure enough, super quantal cards, some of these things have 30 and 40 listings at this point. Now, the only one that I really think that got reprinted was what, Red Layer? If I recall, because he had the OTS common print because, you know, he was getting abused in all these other decks out here. Who would have guessed? A monster that literally special summons itself during the time was pretty crazy out here. And you also, the Super Quantal deck was also kind of a fan favorite for the longest time. That deck actually really made players very excited. It's also kind of like a Super Sentai plugin. And who knows? You never know what Konami's doing out here. For these older archetypes, man, I would love to see some of this, but I don't think it's coming anytime soon. I think if you're looking at an older archetype like this, I think that it's older format application that's just kind of exploding this up in value right now. You know, Super Quantal stuff did show up every once in a while in older formats. You know, there was a time where Great Magnus was an actual problem card. I can tell you, if you played some of these older formats, if your opponent rolled out a Super Magnus on you, you just looked at it and you're like, why are you playing this stuff, man? Like, what is this? Like, how am I supposed to deal with a Super Quantal Megazord out here? And, you know, all these older formats, each and every day, there's so much hype for new, different ones that I'm not really surprised to see out here that you've got people that are genuinely potentially pushing for this. So, I just wanted to tell everybody, hey, Super Quantals, they are going up. And it's actually kind of funny to actually see. And then, of course, Argostar. So I'm going to continue to mention Argostar out here, kind of on the future pickups thing, because right now the big Argostar monster actually went down to $3. You can actually get Glorious Audras at effectively probably their cheapest point that I have ever seen them. And picking them up at such a low price point, I think is fine, actually. You want to be able... What is this? Like, the Lightning... I think you can probably get the whole core now for like $12 if you really try hard enough. And that's amazing. If you are a budget player wanting Argostar stuff, good stuff, man. Like, that's the budget players rejoice. All right, you get an opportunity out here to get some extremely cheap stuff. And that's what you want to be seeing. You want cheap opportunities to be able to make these sorts of cards and to be able to get, you know, decks to be able to play. And Argostar, yeah, I don't think we've had any real meta application out here with it in the TCG. Of course, you know, we're not as casual as the OCG side of things are, but this is enough right now. This is enough that with the cards going down in price, I would genuinely give this as a pickup for the time being. So, a lot of cool frickin' stuff here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very excited to see more of this kind of come to fruition, or just more cool pickups in general on the market. But yeah, you've got a lot of cool things happening out here, man. Like, I like this right now. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.